Peace, 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 everybody. All right, let's get it going. Already, peace is the boss. Dang, you on the cuff. Beat everybody. Peace, you Tracy. How you doing? What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? What's going on? I will all y'all all those that are fasting is getting it in. It's it's fun. It's it's fun. It's clearing out your system and everything. Me, I'm feel more alert, So I'm like always, I'm enjoying it. So what's going on and how y'all doing out there? Ooh. You know what? When I see the white and green, I think of Sister Marsha. Then I forget, brain freeze. As you can see, I'm out of it. But peace of, I'm sorry. I apologize for getting you mixed up. My name is Precious. How you doing? What's going on with you? It's gonna get you. You already know. So yeah, you already know when it comes to you, you know what I'm talking about. But peace. What's going on? So today we gonna get in and talk about the Spook who said by the dough. It's based off of a book that was published in 1969 by Sam Greenlee. See? Peace, sister. How you doing? Now you know. I know who you is. But peace. But as I was saying, the book was published in 1969. And the movie was made in 73. And it's it's good. I mean, I have both the I've seen the movie, of course, and I actually have the book. One of my mentors or teachers, he suggested it for me. And he said, watch the movie and read the book. It's very interesting. And being that it's, the settings in Chicago and, and during, basically the 70s, I wasn't born, but it's just interesting to see. Yes, it's a book. It's not even that long. It's like the book is not that long at all. And the author transitioned. Sam Greenlee transitioned like I would say 2 to 3 years ago. But yeah, it's during the 70s. And so at the start of the movie, we're in the senator's office, Senator Hennington, and he's accompanied by his wife and his melanated secretary. And so they are going over the numbers for the coming election. Shalom, Chief. this is a great movie and book. I got to meet the author and hired him for an appearance right before he transitioned. Great work he did. Yes, yeah, Chief. I agree. I agree, and I'm glad you said that. That's good to know. That's really good to know. Peace, Ia Sequoia. So as I was saying, they're going over the numbers for the coming election, and one thing you realize they're using a lot of computer stats. It's 70s, and the senator is down with the peace, Sister Deidre but he's down with the basically the black vote, and it's funny because the secretary is like it's not the Jays that's the problem. It's the Negroes. Then he says, I'm the best friend those people have, the ego, but I bet you a lot of government officials feel that way. I'm the best friend those people have, what I'm talking about. And so the senator's wife says, well, why don't we make an issue about the CIA being discriminatory in the work in their work environment, because they don't have any real Negro agents. So then you cut to basically the physical and mental or psychological testing of these agents in training. At the start it's like 40 of them, and as it progresses, what I'm talking about, you see the eliminations, but what was interesting, one of the agents, he's asked on a question, about racism, for basically if he was a officer for overseas ambassador, he would give the answer that our government is not opposed to racism, and we still have a long way to go, towards racial progression. Don't it sound like something similar? Like when he said this line, what I'm talking about? It's I swear if you pay attention to elections and whatnot, and they touch on that subject, they say the same thing. They say the same thing, bro. It's interesting. It just it's like they may not say the same words, but it's very it's paraphrasing a lot. You know what I'm talking about? And so yeah, exactly, Sister Deirdre. You find that out, and so after that, there's 10 of them left, right? And then they're in this room, like I just say a smoking room. It's like a smoking room, but with a bar and everything. And the one of the directors, I'll say it like that. He's like peace, Sister Daisy. Sorry about that. He says, 10 of you left, and you're the best of your race. they emphasis that, what I'm talking about. And once he leave, one of the guys, he's poking out his head like, coast is all clear. We're about to be, we about to be agents. And you have two bros, one was like, I'm a fist man myself. And you went to Howard? He's like, you're a frat man? He was like, yeah, Alpha. Oh, right on. Shake on, frat. And when they do that part, what I'm talking about, it's funny because, they do hand gestures, but they ain't really, as we say, they ain't really shaking up, but it's funny as hell, right? It's like, you know, because you know, if you know, they whatever. But it was just real funny in that scene, and I liked it, right? And so one of the guys, you know, the same guy that asked the question, he was like, you know, the word is you know, integration, and that's coming from the top, you know. And you know, he talks about the theory of tokenism, and you know, we can all get a seat at the table, you know, if we just play our cool and do this and do that, you know, we can all get in on this. Now mind you, everybody's like cheering up except for one guy. He's in the background. But what they don't realize is that they're being spied upon by the training directors, you know, on screen, you know, because they got video. Yes, they were so proud to be, you know, to be ice cold, you know. I thought they was just so proud, and but hey, you know it. Hey, look at your look at your look at the look at the caucus, and and you can go down the line. You know, red and white, purple and gold, blue and white, pink and green. We could go on down the line. But that says something. You know, she talked about that in one of his chief podcasts. You know, like what are these people who have all these loyalty? What are they really, you know, what are they really there for? And what are their real loyalties lie? And so next, you know, you see them doing classes like demolition, pistol, you know, I'll just say it like that, pistol training, and diving and parachuting, you know. And then after that, you see that there's 6 men left. And you know, they call him the general, but to me, the director, or the chief director. He says, you know, that the intellectuals, you know, are going to fail the physical part, but you know, there's you know, one might actually make it, and he's like, who? He's like, Freeman. No, frankly, I didn't pay attention to Freeman. He's, you know, he's so invisible, and he says, you know, you know, he's top in the physical and smart as, you know, very smart, and so after that part. Now you see 4 men. And you know, they go to Freeman room, and he was like, hey, bro, you know, we got some time off, you know, we basically gonna leave. Why don't you come, you know, come hang out with us? And he's like, nah, I got work to do, you know. And you know, the same guy, the same agent and trader, you know, that's really, you know, timing it up. I'll just put it like that. You know, he confronts Freeman. You know, it's like, what? I don't get you, man. You know, what kind of time are you? You know, that he really says that. What kind of time are you? You know, and he's like, man, I'm not one that's trying to have it both ways like you are. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the guy feels offended. You know, and he's like, you know, why don't we step outside? You know, let's step outside. You know, back in them days, it's always, want to step outside? You know, but and Freeman's like, nah, you don't, I'm not gonna do that because I kick your ass, you know. And then the guy's like, you know, he's about to step up, you know, try to jump out on Freeman, and you know, the other homies over there, he's like, no, let me go. And then they leave, right? And Freeman, you know, gets upset, you know, and he realizes he got to blow off some steam, and he goes to a bar. So you can see it said they wanted him to dumb down so they wouldn't have to step up their consciousness. Yeah, I would say that. And that was the whole thing about that whole situation. They wanted to stay at the same level so everybody can have a seat at the table. So you're totally right about that. But as I say, Freeman goes into this bar, and he gives a lady a drink at the end of the bar. And you know, she approaches Freeman and asks him, you know, looking for some action. Already you know that, here I go. Already this is a working woman. I'm talking about she she a lady of the night, I'm talking about I don't need to give more clues than that. I'm talking about she's a woman of the town, as they used to say. You know, you know. Um, and Freeman basically, go and trick off on the chick, which was interesting. Was because she propositioned him, tell him the rates, what I'm talking about, and he want the whole night, so Freeman, oh no, this is more better than sunshine. I got a girl who, let's not go. Harlem Nights is different. We talking about this movie, but after they done did the thing, Freeman tells her, you remind me of somebody. And he's like, a queen. And she says it's like, look here, she real, I guess, real vet in the game, what I'm talking about. She like, look here, run me my bread. Don't, don't try to gas me up, what I'm saying. But he's like, no, you really look like a queen from the homie in a book I've read, and she's like, man, get the hell out of here with that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But and then she thinks about it for a minute, and after Freeman poured a drink, she's like, do I really look like a queen from the homie? And he said, yeah, spin image, but with a natural look. You know what I'm saying? And but he says, I'll give you the book, next time I see you. Now, mind you, the chick don't got a name, but in the credits, her name is the homie queen. And I'll say, why they call that chick the homie? Because the bitch look regal. And that's what And if you watch as you progress, the homie looks regal than a motherfucker. Okay. Now she renegading in the motherfucking game, but hey, that's neither here nor there. But she's a renegade, you can tell. But she a renegade, because I don't even think in the book they say she got him. But she a renegade. But yeah, and so after that, it's Freeman and the others are in judo class, and the class is about to be over, and Freeman has to stay for additional instruction, by the white instructor that was there. And the white instructor says, Freeman, I don't like you, and you gonna basically quit, or you ain't gonna leave this mat till you quit. And Freeman doesn't leave the mat. He takes it, and a couple of times, the white instructor, puts Freeman on his ass. But then, the white instructor said, you gonna, you need a rest? And he was like, nah, ain't no rest for the weird. And then all of a sudden, Freeman keeps on flipping the white instructor over so many dang old times, and then he looks like he's about to armbar him, and make the and then it takes basically the Japanese instructor or grand sensei to tap on Freeman's shoulder, like, let him go, he done. And then after that, we find out Freeman got a girlfriend, right? And she comes up and meet him, and they talk a little bit, and have their little time together or whatnot. Freeman was ready for him. He was clear on this mission. Yeah, that's one thing you take from this time, or at least this segment in the movie, is that he's a slave to the mission because he knows what he's there for. Whereas the others, they just saw it as some gig, some status symbol. I'm a CIA agent, but Freeman had a purpose for being there. You know what I'm saying? And so after that, the director or the general, he discusses Freeman's background. And whereabouts and where he's been, and who he's hooked up with. And then they find out, he's hooked up with a prostitute, right? And so they go see the prostitute, the homie. You know what I'm saying? The agent asks a bunch of questions to her about Freeman, especially his sexual habits and drug habits. Do we have any homosexual tendencies? It's very interesting. Because when I was building on this with Tracy, she asked me, why did they ask these questions, especially the homosexual questions? And I explained that they're trying to find a weakness to exploit, but also if they want to basically put an agent beside you and you not know it to spy on you. That's how they do it. I know that was a big thing in COINTELPRO at the time. They'll find out, a leader's sexual habits, or if you like a girl of a certain race, or if you did have homosexual tendencies, they'll put someone on them. You know what I'm talking about? Stay away from them because you are. We ain't gonna go there, but yeah. But so after that, she tells him of a story of Freeman going to this place with her to see a guy that owed her some money. And he wasn't gonna give her the money, but the guy when Freeman was with her, the guy looked at Freeman. Now the guy, she say, was bad and made to a Freeman, but he looked at Freeman and he give me my money. He give me my bread. He run me my bread. And then she's like, he ain't my man or anything like that, but I know that if I was in the gym, he'd be in it. And it'll get bad, for anybody, basically, if he get in it, which is very interesting that, that type of, I guess, connection, where, if you in the gym, you got a solid person, on your back that you could count on and reliable and I guess you could say credible, to get you out, or to stand by your side, you know what I'm saying? Noticed she had no weave or makeup during that meeting. Yeah, all of a sudden, Freeman say something and she already rocking the natural. She just for one suggested instruction and bam, change. Just goes to show you, she was renegading because all of a sudden, she gets some game and it already just changed her life. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. Sometimes you need to put me in a corner. Freeman makes it. He passes. Passes oral exam and everything, and then he becomes an agent. But they basically make him into exactly just she was submissive to the plan. You know what I'm saying? And she was submissive to the plan and she was submissive to the man. You know what I'm talking about? Already. But they make him basically the chief copier, basically a low secretary, but he's an agent, but they make him a copier. And he's in this small room, making copies of top secret documents or whatever. And, the white secretary comes in. and she asked, if Freeman can give a tour to some VIPs, government VIPs. And she's like, "Think you could take it on?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then, as they're walking, the white girl, basically, the white secretary tries, make a pass at him because that's what it seems like to me. Tries to make a pass at him. That's that, she's like, "Freeman, why don't you like me? You don't talk to me so much, and he just says, I just want to do a good job. I want to be the best, producer section chief they've ever had. But you already are, and everybody says so, But that's why I said she was trying to make a pass at him, and he wasn't biting, he was about to eat that pork, what I'm talking about. Yeah. I think she was an agent trying to bring up the. Of course she was. I mean, to me, if you read the language, the nonverbal language that the secretary was pulling off or pushing on Freeman, she was. Now well, I ain't about to go into that, but so after that, Freeman gives the tour. And one of the senators say, "Oh, that's what we like." To the general, he's like, "That's what we like, integration." And then one of the guys say, well, basically the general says, if he does well on this tour, we'll move him up to my staff. And Freeman gets on the staff, and he's been on that staff for 5 years. And but before that, Freeman's girlfriend comes back up to DC, right? And basically tells Freeman, I'm leaving you. And he's like, is it the lawyer or is it the doctor? So now you already know this girlfriend, and he cool with it. She got 2 dudes. And she says she's gonna marry the doctor. You know what I'm saying? And he plays it cool. You can tell he's upset about it, but he plays it cool. And he's like, Joy, let's say goodbye the right way. Now, mind you, this chick pulls off her wig, so her hair ain't, but hey, she rides that. Well, excuse me, but they say goodbye the right way, and after that, it's been 5 years, and Freeman, has been on the general staff for 5 years, and he goes to basically, like I said, smoking room, to talk to the general. Now Freeman says something, basically about his people, of what they must do, and if you look at basically the server, the black male servant, he looks at Freeman like, "What the fuck you just say?" He's like, "That's Uncle Tom, just said that, just came out of his mouth." You know what I'm saying? And which was interesting and cool, right? And so the general says, your people must serve. Now, mind you, it's the 70s. So it's like, since basically its inception, this culture's inception, those, black people have been serving. And a lot. Shoot, they were serving when they were colonies, and they were serving, after they were colonies, the history. And they, and serving, with some high honors that people can't reach, when it comes to certain things. But yeah, he says that. And then, you see Freeman in general walking, and he says, Freeman says, I want to serve, I take what you said at heart, and I want to serve. And I'm gonna go back to Chicago. I'm gonna be a social worker. I'm gonna work in social services. And the general was like, "Oh, well, we're sad to see you go, but if that's what you must do, then, it is what it is." And so, but the general tells the CIA agent to run a routine surveillance on him while he's there. So that happens, and then Freeman comes to comes back home, and it's when you see it, it's the wintertime when he comes back home, and for me knowing it, I already know that he as that driving, he's on Lake Show, Lake Show Drive, and he's heading south. I can pick up on that, but it's just interesting to see, especially in that time frame. Which is very interesting. And so, Freeman's a social worker, and he talks to the mother of a drug dealer who they call Shorty, and she, he goes to talk to her about his activities, his drug activities, and even his drug habit. And she's like, Shorty don't have a habit. He shoots up everything, but that's not a habit. Which you see cognitive dissonance, in his mother, and she goes on to say, because she's defending her son, knowing she's doing wrong. And she's like, what if, because Freeman's like, what if he gets a job or something like that? And she's like, ain't no jobs out there for brothers like him, there's no jobs for him, And then after he goes to see his Shorty's mother, he goes see Shorty, right? And Shorty's already slaying, what I'm talking about, already doing what he do. And he talks to Shorty about not dealing and cutting off the flow of drugs in the community, and Freeman, Shorty calls Freeman by his basically his gang name, Turk. That's that's the name he got when he was in the gang. And he said, no, I'm gonna keep on doing this, what I'm talking about. And so Freeman goes to meet the Cobras, which was his old gang, what I'm talking about. Now, mind you, if you know that time, the Cobras was a real gang in Chicago, but they were called the Jewtown Egyptian Cobras, And another gang that they mentioned later on in the movie were the Apaches, Dawson's gang. That was also a real gang. From what I know, that was a West Side. They were West Side gangs. They weren't South, from what I know, or what was told to me by the old folks, So he goes to meet the Cobras in their own pool hall, right? And they like, you got to get out of here, bro. And Freeman like, you know who I am? Yeah, we know who you are, social worker. You still got to go. You can go through the back, or you can go to the front. You go through the back, we gonna handle you. You go to the front, we ain't gonna bother you. You know what I'm saying? And Freeman's like, I go to the back. So Freeman, goes to the back, and they like, we about to add a little bit whatnot. And Freeman gets the drop on him, and he tells him, what I'm saying, you really want to stick it to Whitey, I can teach you. And so he goes and teach him what he learned from the CIA, and basically teaching them guerrilla warfare and whatnot. What I liked about this film is the fashion, because every place, every city, with us in it, have different fashion. New York has their own fashion back then, and Cali got their own fashion. Now this is our fashion. I was loving the suits, the hats and whatnot. They was like, yeah, that's us. That's how they used to dress back then, for sure. So I enjoyed that, but as Freeman is training them, one they're learning how to make Molotov cocktails, and one of the guys, Pretty Willie, He's like, man, anybody can do this. It don't take but he's like, no, Freeman's like, no, we live off the land. We if we can get technology, then we use it. But we don't depend on it. Which and he talks about using household supplies and things of that nature. But what I liked about that when he said that was it made me think of, today it's like how many people are so, used to their phones. They can't go nowhere with their phones or anything like that. Peace, Max. Peace, Sister Shamini. But they're so attached to their phones. One thing that I like that I don't have a problem with, like if I forget my phone, I'll be like, okay, I don't have to go back for it. Because I remember a time when I didn't have a phone, when I didn't have a cell phone, I was last generation, really know what that's like. And, because I like I say, you remember a time when you didn't have those things, and if you go on down the line, people remember a time, where, they didn't have phones at all. They had to really use a payphone, or they had like one phone, like for a whole building or something like that, or they or they didn't have a color TV, like some people from Gary, we could have had a color TV, but it's color. We ain't going for no damn second place. There's only one place, and that's first. Y'all know what Dad's movie's from, Motown's always been in our corner. Anyway, so after that, Freeman is talking about, it's men against machines and brains against computers. And if you look at any good revolution, he gives the examples of Algeria, Korea, Kenya, and Vietnam. I can get 3 out of the 4, but Korea is like, it's like, I mean, they got to the north, but then they still stuck at the 39th or 38th. It should be 38th parallel. So yeah, I mean, can you really call that success? I mean, but I mean, they still here, like Cuba. So I mean, I guess, but I mean, it's different, in my eyes. But yeah, and so he goes with the guy, you don't hear his name till later, but he goes with Doodaddy, right? And they up on the L, which I enjoy that scene. And he's telling him, for us, it's easy to map out stuff by the streetlights, basically, and how you can snipe from that angle and whatnot. So they going over that, with the sniper lens and things like that. And then you see, the old school L train, that's white and green, and and if you ever see Good Times, what I'm talking about, it's that same old train, what I'm talking about. I can remember as a little kid, they still had those trains, in the back of the train yard on Baba Haru, on the red line, where we from, and it's just cool because I think the L is going by, and then you think of Good Times, keeping your head above water. Anyway, but so anyway, Joy visits Freeman, right, and they talk, for a minute, and she tells him that his homie Dawson is back in town from California. And so Freeman goes to meet Dawson at a club, and already, I'm talking about, Freeman got 2 chicks. One for them, one for his friend, what I'm talking about. But Dawson also got a chick, he already rapping to a chick, before Freeman gets to the door. But we find out he's a cop. And like I say, he went to California to give a seminar on riot control and inner city gangs. And then you find out, that he was a warlord for the Apaches, So like I said, real gang, right? But they rap it. But what's so cool was that, before Dawson goes to really hang with Freeman, he raps to the chick and let her know what it is. She don't get mad. She don't trip. He proceeds on to where him and this homie can wrap it up. I thought that was finesse, like some motherfuckers can't pull that off, because a woman would get mad. Oh, who the hell is that bitch? Things of that nature at least. But she played it cool, talking about. I just thought that was very cool in the movie, talking about, but yeah. And so after that, after they talk, you see the next training Freeman gives to the Cobra. He said, next training y'all gonna learn how is to steal. And the Cobra's like, we know how to steal, And he's like, no, I mean stealing in another kind of way. And then he goes in to say that, a black man with a mop in his hand can go damn near anywhere in this country. And a smiling black man is invisible. And then you see Stud, he has the mop and he's going through the white man's office, acting like he's cleaning the windows, but he's really stealing like the telephone and his pipe and things of that nature. And he goes right out the door, robs him blind, right? Which was very cool. And after that scene, Freeman talks to Pretty Willie or Willie. Yeah, they just knew how to steal from their own. Exactly. It's different from when you steal from your own, and then when you steal from the dominant power or the dominant society. It's very different. You have to you have to function in a different kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If they weren't, they were often slapped. Yeah. A lot of women in the 70s movies were submissive to them, man. Yeah. Yes, you on it. But he talks to Willie, and he is talking to Willie about being his minister of information, because Willie goes to college, and he asked Willie, why does he get a degree? And Willie's like, because it's just a status symbol or whatever. I don't need it. And then, Freeman tells him, tells him a story about how his grandmother learned to read. He's like, how my grandmother learned to read with me, which to me, it sounded like a poem. Like you can make that into a poem. How my grandmother learned how to read with me, maybe it was poetic in my mind, but yeah, tells the story. And Willie asks, basically, I can't figure out, bro, why are you doing all of this? And he says, it's simple, Willie. I want to be free. I'm doing this for freedom. And then Willie's like, yeah, I can dig that because I hate white folks. And then Freeman goes into, I love this speech. This isn't about hate white folks. It's about loving freedom so much that you're willing to kill or die for it. You know what I'm saying? And, I love those lines, because it takes the emotionalism out of the situation. Because if that's your primary goal or primary power source, in a revolution, it's easily compromisable or easily able to be steered by your enemy, right? So he talks about you ever killed anybody, and he said, Will says no, and Freeman's like, I have in Korea. Now he's a Korean vet, a war nobody really talks about, but it's it was hairy, what I'm talking about, for those that were there. even. But and he goes on to say, some of the brothers are gonna love being killers because that's what they are. Basically just saying, that's your warrior class. You know what I'm saying? They that's what they here to do. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing to just scoff at or be ashamed of. I mean, that's just the warrior class. It's just how they work. Yeah, that line was deep. He said, "You will need more than hate to sustain you when this begins." Yeah, yeah. Thanks for that, Ia Tracy. And so, Freeman wants Willie lead a bank heist, bank job, and with basically all the half black cobras, and Willie is like, that's it. I am tired. I am not passing. I am black. I was born black. He goes into this whole spiel. You know what I'm saying? Which was interesting. Because in the past, you had uh people of that descent that were passing, for sure. So that is what it is. But they he still leads the team, and they pull off the bank heist with no problems, because there was a method to the madness, if they're looking for armed white men, it's easy, to throw them off the scent. Whereas if you did it with, a more melanin dominant man, it's or male, it's easy to find them. But I guess you could say, because they ain't gonna leave no stone unturned if it's you. You know what I'm talking about? They really ain't. So, I saw an interview with that actor, and he said he wasn't really acting. They, yeah. Well, I think that's make that scene more great. That he wasn't acting. That he really, if he really felt like that, because if you have or know people that's like that, it shows. Tragic mulatto or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's good that he wasn't acting during that scene, because it made the scene good. That's one of my memorable scenes in this movie. So that's why I like that scene with Pretty Willie and Freeman, right? And after that, Freeman goes over basically operations, with to me the Cobra lead Doodaddy, right? And, they talk about where they want, those that's being, sent out basically into the field, where they're going to go, and what to look for while they're recruiting, outside of Chicago and in other states. And then he says, if they get caught, we'll recruit in prison and be replaced. And I thought that was interesting enough. Makes me think of certain prison gangs. That do be in prison, and they recruit in prison. You know what I'm talking about? Because it ceased to be what it is on the street. You know what I'm talking about? So after that, Freeman, Joy, and Dawson, they meet up. And Joy asks him about his wife Arlene, and if they want to get together, and he says no, because she don't want to be the wife of a cop, right? And after that, Dawson talks to Freeman. He's like, Can't let her go, can you? He's like, no, and she knows me too well, you know. And they go and leave to go out or whatever. And after that, Freeman gives the aura exam to the Cobras, and um, after that, he tells like the leaders, that he's appointed, basically Doodaddy Stud and Pretty Willie, and he gives them, syringes and tell them, you know, make tracks to make it look like, you're a drug addict, to fool the cops, you know what I'm saying? So put tracks in your arms, and whatnot, and then after that, Doodaddy and Red Pretty Willie go into a Civil War skit, you know, which is funny, you know what I'm saying? It's funny, and a Civil War skit about the war being over and slave being free. Massa. Oh, Colonel Beauregard then came home from the war. It's funny. You know what I'm saying? And after that, Freeman says, what you just enacted was the American dream. And now we're going to turn it into a nightmare. Which was interesting, when he said that, because it made me think of something. Like, if you go, the dominant society, I always want to go back to a certain point in time. To me, it's always the 50s. And if you look at certain places, it's like that. It looks like something, especially when you go down south. It looks like something like either out of the 50s. 50s, if you go up to the cities, it's much older when you go down to the south. It's like they never, they want to stay in those good golden year times. You know what I'm talking about? Which they deemed was the good old days, whatever. But yeah, if you ever just observe your surroundings or anything like that, which was interesting. And so after that, the Cobras break into the National Guard Armory, which is very interesting, because I actually know where the National Guard, well, one of the National Guard armories is and whatnot. And they break in, they steal, ammo, M16s, M16s, A1s, at that time. And after that, Doodaddy talks to Freeman, or Turk, about brothers getting drafted, and or whatnot. And Turk is like, man, they get drafted, they probably gonna have to be on the run, but we're still going to recruit every Vietnam vet that we can get. You know what I'm saying? But he also tells him that he wants to turn Dawson into a double agent. And Doodaddy's like, do you really think we, can win all of this? And Freeman's like, in guerrilla warfare, winning is in not losing. And then he says, you can't fall out of bed. If you're already sleeping on the ground, you can't fall out of bed. And which was very interesting, because Tracy asked that question. What did that mean? And I gave the answer is, if you're already sleeping on the ground, or if you're already basically at a grassroots level, or at the lowest point where your enemy really can't do nothing. So you're on the bottom, but you ain't at the top. You really ain't gonna fall out of bed. Whereas, or you don't have really nothing to lose. But the person that's at the top has something to lose, and they'll fall out of the bed, by doing that, and I gave the example of Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? The Viet Cong, they didn't have, helicopters and napalm and M16s. You know what I'm saying? They used what they had, and they did. I would say, in my personal opinion, genius military tactics. From burying underground like ants, and just using the lay of the land to just really dominate the enemy and maneuver him where they want him to. Just ingenious, if you ask me. you know um so yeah. And after that he says, what we want is to basically fight to a standstill, because Whitey can't police the world and keep us on our ass, at the same time. So we gotta force them to have to make a choice. you know and then he said, and do that is like, we got some, at least 9, I think, basically groups that are combat ready. And he's like, I want them in Boston and whatnot, and Boston, I think LA, and other major cities. And then he names New Orleans, and then you that's like, man, they got some bad motherfuckers in New Orleans. And I was like, they're right, but you don't know. But I think, and then he says by next summer we should be ready to hit the 10 largest urban complexes in the U.S. But I think what was interesting is that the Freeman and them are trying to recruit, but I guess no one talks about the I guess the psychological or social mindset um, of melanated people in different cities, and how you can really win them on their side. Because they were talking about recruit gangs that had that were like the Cobras. You know what I'm saying? And you can do that for like New York, Boston, LA, things like that. But when it comes to the South, that's why I thought New Orleans was interesting. When it comes to the South, it's very different. The gangs, because for them, it's about where you're from, who you grew up with, and all that whatnot. They really don't have gang structure like that, unless you went to certain place. Well, modern, in modern times, they, and whatnot. But back then, they didn't have those things. So it's like, how can you recruit certain, so-called certain gangs when they don't really have that stuff? It's about, where you from, and what high school you went with, and who's all your friends, and things of that nature, which was interesting. Have different tribes who do different things for the same mission. Yeah, but it's just about reaching those type of tribes. Classic example, Tecumseh's Pan Indian movement, when he went they're from the Midwest, basically. The Shawnee are from the Midwest, and they go down south to ally with the Chickasaw, the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, and the Cherokee. The five. I just say the five tribes, and they turn them down. you know. Now, what Tecumseh is saying is, to ally with him, he's not wrong, but they still didn't join him. So you have to know the people that that you trying to convince, to get them on your side. You know, um, but that's what I thought what was interesting. But another thing that was interesting in this whole movie is that there was no, like the Panthers that or the movie Panther and the movement, there was no spirituality. The spiritual arm was not included in this revolution, which another example of why what you need, what was needed and what wasn't given, and you could say it's doomed for failure because you don't have one key ingredient, which was spirituality. You know what I'm saying? And but after that, Shorty gets shot from running away from the cops, and though a riot breaks out, and the riot starts, because Freeman and them are downtown, and what was funny is that when Freeman gets the call about what was happening, he laying up with Joy. Her husband's not missing her. But anyway, just all kinds. This is anyway. He's laying up with Joy, and he gets the call from Dude Daddy like, "Hey man, you might be going down sooner than we planned because Shorty got shot, basically." And they try to stop the riot and have people go home, but then they bring out the police dogs. The police dogs all of us hate. German shepherds. They bring out the police dogs, and then that eggs the people on, and they start riding. You know what I'm talking about? And as the riot is going on. Exactly, husband. Hey, doctors work them long hours. Hey. It is, but she was going. She was going. She already. Yeah. But we ain't gonna talk about that. Peace, Ricochet. But so after that whole conversation, Stud tells Freeman, that we ready, we've been ready, you know what I'm talking about. But Freeman's like, no, we wait. And Stud, questions that, what I'm talking about. He's like, man, why we gotta wait for? We ready to go, and Freeman's like, who's in charge if something happens to me? And then Stud goes down, the line of succession. I'll put it like that, line of succession. And then he's like, man, we go when you say go, And so Freeman goes, Freeman talks to Dawson, and they're in the car, you know what I'm saying? And Freeman, says, a cop and a social worker just keep us in the zoo. Keep us in the zoo. And and how the ghetto is the jungle, you know what I'm saying? And Freeman tells Dawson, that that you protect property, not lives. And he's not wrong. Policy, that's what they do. Which was a strong conviction, and whatnot. And then I like, because another this is another scene that stuck with me. But and he says, what white folks calls you and me, what I'm saying, basically privately, he says, dogs, and then he goes like that, and it's a good scene for that moment, because you can feel it, because it's true, especially, during that time in Chicago. Shoot, it's highly segregated still. F all that. You think you got integration? No, because there's places, especially, during that time, you still couldn't go. You still couldn't take your butt up north. You still couldn't take your butt in certain South Side neighborhoods where there were white folks or Italians or Irish. There's still places you couldn't go. You know what I'm saying? Unless you was ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And then after that, you see basically the Cobras, they hijack a radio station, and then they give the Uncle Tom radio broadcast, and then Uncle Tom talks about blowing up, the mayor's office, but not during the day, because that's what they'll say that they were doing. So they blow it up at night, and then they say we are the Black Freedom Fighters of Chicago, which was interesting because the at least the mayor's office or whatever is not in it, it's not in high rise. It's in an old building, like right off of like Washington, and it's like it's like adjacent across from what is it? I think it's like First Presbyterian Church of Chicago, something like that. Which you know the building, so those old buildings like building 18 something, because it's right on the stone. It's a stone building. But it's interesting, to see that, because if you know. But so the I'm just gonna call them the BFFC. They give the National Guard an ultimatum, to leave by midnight. And National Guard say we refuse to leave by midnight. And so the BFC, we just say that BFC, they hit the guard, and they captured the colonel that was talking all that stuff, and then they paint his face black, like, but in Mistral, what I'm saying, which was funny, what I'm saying. Then they make him drink acid, and then you see him, riding around on a bicycle, highs out, all out, and then he's talking with with a guard member, and then all of a sudden he gets sniped, which was cool, what I'm saying. And then you see the BFC hit the guard from an apartment building. But if you ain't you ain't from here, you wouldn't know that was an apartment building. Especially, oh man, growing up, I used to love sitting on the wooden stoops. If you see the wooden stoops, basically wooden staircases, behind, in the back. I used to love just sitting behind, on them and whatnot. And yeah. But they hit him in an abandoned apartment building, and then the president calls for a state of emergency, and he says he's going to bring the 86th Airborne to Chicago, and the CIA discusses solutions, and they say you gotta basically hit them one by one, extract the black population, because they say they had three options, and so the third option, because both of those options they just said are cost effective, you can't really do nothing with them, and so starve them out. That was another one. Thank you, Sister Ia Tracy. So the other option that he gives, and he says, the Russians, got a prop man, right? And we got to find him, neutralize him, basically kill the head, and the body will fall. But, what's interesting is that they say it's the Russians, which, they mean the USSR, communist Russia, still around, and we find out, that the general is basically tricking, tricking and sponsoring the homie, and when you see the homie, man, I mean, she got her hair wrapped on, she got the African period garb on and whatnot. Like I said, the bitch look wrinkled, what I'm talking about, she done leveled up, what I'm saying? And she finds out all this stuff and she go find Freeman. Mind you, she don't know where he is, but she asks him around, and she's but also she's covered, saying she, before you saw, the homie, she was in a mini dress, what I'm talking about, had her shoulders uncovered and whatnot. I would say, she's still in the game, but she's a covered ass chick, but she's still getting that money, what I'm talking about. But it is what it is. And she goes to Freeman, says that she wants to warn Uncle Tom about what's going on with CIA, because her sponsor, she said, I ain't got to hustle no more. I got a sponsor now, and I own property. So like I said, the level up, what I'm talking about. She got property now, what I'm saying. She homing up. She still ain't got no bill, but she's still renegade, but she homing up. But she got a sponsor. But that's all that matters. But she says all this, and basically relaying, to Freeman that they think that the Russians as basically got a prop man, and they trying to kill him. And so he's like, okay, so they kill the head, the body will fall. So they way off the mark. And but she already knows that basically Freeman is on the time. She and then Freeman said, I want you to be I'm gonna send somebody to contact you in DC. Basically, you're gonna be a contact, but don't hit me up unless it's really important, on life or death or something like that. Already, talk about got got another spy, in the top, what I'm talking about, which works, what I'm saying. I can feel that, what I'm saying. And I think the general kept her around because that's what he was into. That's why. That's I think that's exactly that's a trick. What I'm saying. I think once they find out who Freeman was laying with, what I'm saying, it wasn't about trying to pump her for more information. He probably saw what he liked, and secretly he wanted a chick on the side, and he was willing to trick up that money, what I'm talking about. So hey, I ain't hating on the chicks hoe gang, what I'm talking about. It is what it is. Get that money. So this is why we can't do 70s movies with pimps and stuff, because I'll act out. But have somebody else do that. I can't. Have somebody else. So the guard get his again, right? And Joy argues with Freeman about this. She's like, my husband lost his job, and he was the first black doctor in that hospital, an all-white hospital or whatever. And she's like, innocent blacks are suffering because these hateful ass niggas. So it's them. That's what Freeman says. And she's arguing with him, and then Freeman goes off, but also he has to catch himself, like, what, yeah, we have a lot to lose or whatever. And you see Joy snitching on Freeman to Dawson, like, it's him, and she's like, I'm doing the right thing. this chick laying up with this guy, cheating on her husband with him. And she ups and snitches on him. You know what I'm talking about? The bitch went down, but the homie was. But it's interesting because when I first saw this movie, and read the book, I asked my teacher about that. I was like, why was, Joy went down, but the homie was, I was young. So, he explained it to me, but I used to always, be like, why is that? Huh? But it is what it is. But after she snitches, she was a simulation of the secular world, potential weakness. Exactly. She, she she was all about the big payday, she went for the money. Went the money. Yeah, I love that movie too. Well, I like it for the acting. I'll just say like that. I like Malcolm X for the acting, but yeah, went for the money. So Dawson tries to arrest Freeman at his house. And basically what I like about this scene is basically I know where it's at, because I'm looking at the window and I'm like, oh, I know those buildings. They, right on the Riverwalk, way that, they downtown, I'm like, they shot that, across the river, but it is what it is. And he's trying to arrest Freeman, and says, yeah, I know your Uncle Tom. I heard the tapes, and I know it's you, Dan, because Dan Freeman. And she was always about the money. Unlike the homie, she had her crown plan. Yeah. The homie Father Freeman's. Yeah, for real. And and Freeman tells Dawson, you want it both ways. You know what I'm talking about? Because he offers, he says, join us, you know what I'm saying? But he's like, Dawson, you want it both ways. You want a pat on the head from Whitey and the love and respect of your people, but you can't really do it with that badge, you know what I'm saying? Without disrespecting that badge. And then, Dawson's like, there's kids out there, fighting all this. And Freeman's like, yeah, I got to the kids first, you know what I'm saying? And the kids are our hope for the future, you know what I'm saying? And I got to them before, drugs or they become another Dawson, or jail, you know what I'm talking about? And, after that, Freeman and Dawson, gets in a struggle, and Freeman grabs a knife and stabs Dawson, but Dawson shoots Freeman in the stomach, and but Freeman, Dawson ends up dying, Yeah, another attempt to dumb Freeman down so he won't have to level up his conscience, right? And so Freeman calls up Doodaddy and to come over and get rid of basically do something with Dawson's body. And Stud sees Dawson, and he's like, yo, man, that's your main man. That's like me killing Doodaddy, you know what I'm talking about? And Freeman's like, you may have to, or he may have to do you. You know what I'm saying? We gotta, basically, he's basically teaching them that you may end up having to kill somebody that look like you, or you might have to kill somebody that are like Dawson. There's a whole bunch of Dawsons out there. And then he goes and talk about how, there's like I think 40% of 40% of blacks in the military or whatever. You may end up having to kill them. So, and if you don't, you be one dead cobra. But don't, he's like, man, don't tell me, who this guy was, or what he meant to me or whatever. When I already know, he's like, nah, get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? And he said, basically, notify everybody in the field that we are set to condition red. At the end of the day, and then he looks at them and say, as they carrying Dawson's body out there, he says, don't quit, until either you win or you die. And I always like that line, what I'm saying? Don't quit, till you win or you die, which that's how it has to be, what I'm saying? If you this, you can't quit. Either you win or you die. Some people, they quit. Chief Joseph, he quit. Geronimo quit. Geronimo quit. What I'm saying? Sitting Bull, he quit. They all quit. But if you learn from them, you can't quit. Unless either you win or you die. What I'm saying? Because both can be respected. Even if you lose. And so after that, you see, the uprisings all over the country and whatnot in different cities, and then you see Freeman, have a drink and toast, to the sky, and that's in the movie. I also realized Freeman's clothes at the end were more Afrocentric during that scene. No suit or collar shirt. Yeah. He's in basically he's in his own element, if you ask me. What I'm saying? Yeah, he didn't have to hide no more. Or, it's sort of a part of your camouflage or his camouflage, because if he's a social worker, he has to basically, blend in with the people that he's social working with. You got to blend in with the youth, and the youth is they down, and that's the time of the day, what I'm saying, to be Afrocentric and to wear dashikis and things of that nature. So I would say it's just a part of his camouflage. I mean, he's already pro-black or whatever. He doesn't really have to use that as a stat, as a way of saying it, or, like I say, he could have been comfortable in his own setting, or he's in comfort of his own home, or, he's a social worker. Of course, he's going to wear a dashiki every now and again. You know what I'm talking about? But that's the end of the movie. Like I say, it's a good movie. I like it. I just like it because, it's in Chicago, and it's a fun movie, and a learn and one that you learn from. It's one that you really learn from. Especially things of that nature. When it comes to armed revolution and things of that nature, it shows interesting things. The life you should be living. Yeah, your work will speak for itself. Yeah, I really love this movie. You know what I'm saying? Love the movie, love the book. You know what I'm saying? Love the book. And it's amazing how this movie was banned. You couldn't play this movie, at all. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I had to watch like all of y'all. When I first saw this movie, I saw it on YouTube. Never even heard of it because it was banned. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was banned at one point in time. So yeah, like I say, yeah, Sister Kashi. Like I say, it's a book. It's not long. It's not long. It's not a thick book, so you can get by it. You can really get by it. I would say it's but not bad. Oh, your dad had it on bootleg on DVD. That's cool. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it is a classic. I would say that it's but it's an unknown movie. It's a classic unknown movie. There's some classic unknown movies that nobody watches, nobody talks about. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes them so good. They're classic unknowns. Another one, like that is, the educational Sonny Carson that we was talking about last straw. You know what I'm saying? That's I didn't know about that movie. It's an unknown movie. Nobody talks about it unless you grew up in that era. Um I love the strategy that Phoenix utilized. Yes, he utilized good strategy. And I like um he, the way that he talked, or the way he taught the Cobras. You know what I'm saying? It was real cool to see that. You know what I'm saying? Um, Basically in that setting, especially when they're in the field. Um, I guess it would be considered propaganda, but they never banned the original birth of the nation. Well, I mean, of course they ain't gonna ban the original Birth of a Nation if you ever seen it. Of course not. They good old boys. Hell no. They show that. Well, they show that at the White House. You know what I'm saying? But no, they ain't about to do that. No. But things that empower you, oh yeah, they're going to ban that. If they don't have their stamp of approval, you ain't gonna see it. Just like since you brought up Birth of a Nation, look at how they did the other Birth of a Nation. That movie's actually good. It's good. You know what I'm saying? And my favorite part of that movie literally is because it still sticks with me. My favorite part of that Birth of a Nation with Nate Parker is when that guy kills Massa, kills the white master and takes that little girl out of that bed and walks on. I love that daggone scene because it's that powerful. It's that powerful, especially if you a melanated man in this country. That scene is powerful because you're always seen as you know a a person who harms children, you know, or you have the potential of doing that, and then you see a scene where you're saving a child from sexual abuse. Man, that's powerful. That's why that movie. That's why they made all that fuss, because that is that one scene alone is powerful. If you ask me. We ain't gonna talk about the whole thing, but for me, that was a powerful scene because I've never seen nothing like that before. You won't never see nothing like that in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It, like I say, yeah, exactly. It had a few powerful scenes, and that was the one that stick out for me. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, you ain't gonna really see that. So yeah. Um, but like I say, man, you know, like I said, I like this movie. It's during a time I don't know, you know, like it's during the time where you really have to talk to the older generation to because they were alive. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm glad I know certain things because I talked to the older generation and they told me these things, you know what I'm talking about? Like with the Apaches, the Chiefs, and the Jewtown Egyptian Cobras and then we didn't even go to the South where you got, and they even named the famous ones. The ones that, the the Black Stones, the Vice Lords, the Devil Disciples, and the Black Gangsters before they joined hands and became the Black Gangster Disciples or the Gangster. Anyway, before the chairman and the king came together, you know what I'm talking about. But and the Latin Kings at that time too. But you go down those things and then talking to them and and then at that time as well we didn't also have we also had the L and buses, but shoot, for a long time I didn't even know we had a trolley system. I thought that was some New Orleans type stuff because only New Orleans still run trolleys. I didn't even know that some of the tracks were trolley tracks. Blew my mind because I would see if you ever see if some of your streets had for us they had potholes, so I would actually see the old cobblestones and the tracks that ran down. So I was like, oh, we really did have, and then if you see old pictures, you can see, oh yeah, we did have a trolley system at that time. Didn't know that, or things of that nature. And it just it's good to know. Like I was telling Ian Tracy, it's the story of your city, and if you're from there, you should know it. You should know how you came up there, what your people did or whatever, and how y'all got, why y'all is the way y'all is. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very interesting. The intermediate and the ethnic culture or subconscious ethnic culture of city people, from different places. Very interested to see. And then you see it and you like, because when I saw the fashion, I was like, so that's where that's where we get it from. Huh? See the same thing in Cooley High, yeah. It's just interesting to see, what I'm saying? And then you like, so that's, yeah, huh. That's why we're like that, Very interesting, They dressed it and sarcasm, because they from they from the South, So yeah, like I say, it's a good movie, It's very powerful. And like I say, unknown movie with unknown actors, what I'm saying? Another one, Daughter of the Dust was the same way. So, I mean, you find great movies with unknown actors. Shoot, like I say, the Warriors is the same way. Unknown actors for the most part. You know what I'm saying? But you never know where you stumble on with certain movies. Shoot, I even think I think the homie, because I was thinking about it today. I think the homie played in this movie, called Switchblade Sisters. That I ended up seeing when I was like a kid. I think she played this black female gang leader. It looked just like her, but yeah. So, but that's that movie, man. Like I say, it's cool. You know what I'm talking about? But hey, it leaves an impression. It leaves an impression. You know what I'm saying? It leaves an impression on you. And there's just some certain things you don't forget in that movie. That you learn. And it sticks with you. And then you may incorporate it into your own cultural building. Like for me, man, I will always tell, man, this ain't about hating white folks, or anything. This ain't about hating no type of race. It's just love and freedom enough that you wouldn't kill for to die for. I don't know what you do for your friend, I die for mine. But you can impart that on somebody. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. So might as well tell y'all, for the next movie we're doing Inception, but it will be given by a very good brother who he always wants me, always sends in his requests, right? That's why I like him. He sends in some good requests, but it's like I can't fulfill it because it's like, bro, it has to be easy and accessible for everybody, and I really want to, I really want to do it for him, but he up and volunteered, to do Inception, and it's gonna be given by Brother Chris, and it will be held on the 30th. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and I can't wait for it. Because Inception is a good movie. You know what I'm saying? For and look, he just pops in what I'm talking about. You right on time. Peace, Brother Chris. This is gonna be given by Brother Chris. And but Inception is a good movie. Now for some, it's very talkative, boring. Some people may see it as boring because it's very talkative, but it's a very good movie. Deals with the mind and subconscious. Man, that movie is good. It is great, and I really want to see where Brother Chris takes us with Inception, and that's gonna be fun to see. You know what I'm talking about? Because he builds on metaphysics, which you gotta like that about him. I mean, he's great at it. You know what I'm talking about? So I really am excited to see where he goes with that, and where he takes it from, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And I'm me personally, I'm just happy that I can fulfill a request from him, because I really look, me and him was building. We was trying to get him to do, well, he wanted to do either Inception or Crouch Tiger, Dragon. I was like, man, I'm do what, and I'm glad it's Inception. So exactly, because like ESJ says, for some people it's boring, but it's really good. I mean, and I like one of my favorite scenes is from that movie is Leonardo DiCaprio's character is talking to his wife in that movie, about certain, about Inception and the creation of it and all those things. It's like I said, it's very good. Man, it's very good. You know what I'm saying? If you can follow it, if you have to watch it in bits and pieces, because you probably don't like talking movies, that's really talkative. Watch it in bits and pieces, and then just think about each piece. But if you can watch it straight through, like I can watch straight through, you watch straight through, man, it's a good movie to watch. So that's what we're gonna be doing next, strong. So yeah, I can't wait for it. That's gonna be fun. But it's for the brother, it's gonna be a new time. So it's gonna be the 30th. I'll say it again, the 30th, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I will give thanks, Sister Chamonix. So I give thanks to everybody that came out. I appreciate it, and yeah, Tracy, break it up. Just break it up. Watch. I don't know. Watch and maybe shoot. I say probably watch it in 30-minute intervals. Do that. Watch it in 30-minute intervals, and then ponder on it and whatnot, and work from there. So give thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful, strong. You know what I'm saying? Keep it up. Keep going, and keep moving forward and whatnot. And hey, we'll see you at the next strong. You know what I'm talking about. And when we get into Inception, and we gonna deal with the subconscious mind, man. Brother Chris, you gonna need to build on some dang on Freud and Jung. Oh yeah, Freud and Jung. This will be good. So give thanks, everybody, and I will see y'all later. Peace.